Join me as I dive deep into the complexities of emotional and physical trauma and see if I can truly understand the pain and healing process. Emotional and physical trauma are two concepts that are often misunderstood, yet they play a vital role in understanding human pain and healing. In today's video, we'll be exploring these concepts, debunking common misconceptions, and delving into the different types of trauma. One of the biggest misconceptions about trauma is that it only affects people who have experienced extreme events, like war or natural disasters. But the truth is, trauma can affect anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. It can be caused by a range of experiences, from bullying and abuse to emotional neglect and even societal expectations. Another misconception is that trauma is just about the event itself, when in reality, it's about how that event affects us on a deeper level. It's about how it changes our perception of ourselves, others, and the world around us. Trauma can also be misunderstood as a personal weakness or a sign of vulnerability. But the reality is that trauma is a natural response to a threatening situation, and it's not a reflection of our strength or character. In fact, it takes a lot of courage to acknowledge and face our trauma head-on. Additionally, trauma is often seen as a problem that only affects the individual, when in reality, it can have a ripple effect on our relationships, communities, and even society as a whole. Despite these misconceptions, there's still a lot of stigma surrounding trauma, which can make it difficult for people to open up and seek help. But it's essential to recognize that trauma is a common experience that can affect anyone, and it's not something to be ashamed of. Trauma can manifest in many different ways, and it's often divided into three main categories: acute, chronic, and complex. Acute trauma is a single event that causes a traumatic response, like a car accident or a physical attack. Chronic trauma, on the other hand, is repeated exposure to traumatic events over a prolonged period, like domestic violence or emotional abuse. Complex trauma is a combination of acute and chronic trauma, often occurring in childhood or adolescence, and can have a profound impact on a person's sense of identity and self-worth. The psychological impacts of trauma can be just as severe as the physical ones. It can lead to anxiety, depression, PTSD, and even suicidal thoughts. Physically, it can cause chronic pain, fatigue, and a range of other health problems. But despite these challenges, it's essential to recognize that trauma is not a life sentence. With the right support, resources, and mindset, it's possible to heal and move forward. I want to share a story that illustrates the journey of healing from trauma. Sarah was a victim of emotional abuse in her childhood, which led to severe anxiety and depression in her adult life. Despite struggling to open up about her past, she eventually sought help from a therapist and support group. Through her journey, she learned to recognize her triggers, develop coping mechanisms, and ultimately, find forgiveness and closure. Sarah's story is a powerful reminder that healing is possible, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. In today's video, we've explored the complexities of emotional and physical trauma and seen how it can affect anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. We've debunked common misconceptions and highlighted the importance of awareness and support. As we close this video, I want to encourage you to share your experiences in the comments below and check out our next video on mental health resources. Remember, healing is possible, and you are not alone.